What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Shooting the Shit Uncensored, baby. We're coming to you late tonight, 10:30 p.m. Sydney time. That's it. Kids are asleep. Wife's asleep. It's time to sit back, relax, crack yourself a cold one, pour yourself a stiff one, and hell, roll yourself a green one if you really want to go that way. But guys, sit back and relax because we are bringing another amazing episode for you this evening. And I'm really excited to have my guest on. I've wanted to have Lily on for the longest time. I've heard so much great stuff about her, how much of an amazing talent she is, and I can't wait to get in the interview. But before we get into that, I want to thank actually, you know what? One second. I want to take something off because I know it's State of Origin time. So, all the New South Wales supporters, enjoy yourselves. And I just want to show you guys one thing. This is the bottle I drink all the tears from New South Wales marks in, okay? So when we beat you guys again, this is where I'm going to drink your tears from. But guys, let's get into some sponsors. First up, we have healthvape.com. Now, healthvape.com sell a healthy vaping alternative. Ugh, that's a tongue twister. All products are no nicotine, no harmful or addictive chemicals or substances. They are vitamin infused, so make sure you pick some of their amazing vape and pod products today using promo code MWA pod. That's MWA POD for a 10% discount. Go and check him out today. I'm a vapor. I've got some on order. I'm waiting for him to come in. And, I think this will be the transition of me quitting vaping. I've quit smoking. Now I've quit vaping. Well, not quit vaping, but on the way to doing it. But anyway, guys, my next sponsor is Sleefs.com. Now, if you're an athlete or you know an athlete, you need to check out Sleefs.com. Sleeves offer a great quality from products from armbands, knee sleeves, headbands, tights, joggers, socks, compression pants, compression shorts, compression socks. Every time I train, I have to make sure I'm wearing compression pants, especially when I'm doing legs, because I'm old. I'm 39. I can't train like I used to, but I can still try and be as comfortable as I can and reduce injury by wearing some of these amazing products from Sleeves. And they also have dirty boxes. So if that's your thing, make sure, or someone you know's thing, make sure you check out sleeves.com. Use promo code MWA pod at checkout to get a 10% discount. Whoa, guys, we are seriously. Let me get rid of that. I want to take another quick second, guys, to pay some respect to some of the shows on the MWA podcast network. Besides bringing you this show, Shooting the Shit Uncensored, whenever I want to go live, and I go live multiple times a week with people from around the world in the professional wrestling business. But you should also check out Killing the Business with the Kingpin Angel Medina, former ECW original, airs every Saturday at 10 a.m. Australian time, which is 8 p.m. USA Eastern. So make sure you're checking out Killing the Business every week. Angel talks about stuff not many people want to talk about, that are too afraid to get heat in the wrestling business, and Angel don't really give a fuck. So hence Killing the Business. But guys, if you want to check out some more content, we also have Get Funked with former WCW star Alan Kwee Funk. So make sure you check out his show. He's bringing on a lot of great guests, talking about the good old days from the WCW power plant in Atlanta. And, he's had on some amazing guests like Molly Holly. He's had on Chuck Palumbo. He's had on Kid Romeo. And he's got so many more amazing guests coming up as well. So make sure you check out that. And guys, last show that we have on our podcast network, and definitely not our least, it is one of my favorite shows to watch. It is Knights of the Gimmick Table with the Dead Presidents, Boogaloo, and Lowrider. So you make sure you check out my homies. They drop their show every single Sunday at 9 p.m. USA Eastern, which is Monday at 11 a.m. But you can always catch the replay on Twitch and YouTube. So make sure you check out all those shows, guys. But without further ado, I'm going to bring out my guest. She's been waiting so patiently. Lily, thanks for joining me tonight.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, so have I. And, as I was saying before the show, I was trying to do as much research as I can whenever I have a guest on, because I like to know who I'm going to talk to, essentially. And you're like this quiet achiever. Like, I've heard everyone telling me, you have to check out Lily Blaze. You have to bring her on your show. You have to check out her matches. She is amazing. And you were like the hidden talent in Australia that is just unfindable. When did you break into wrestling?
When did I break? So I debuted last year in July, in the middle of the pandemic.
Wow.
Yeah, which is crazy. We just had a 3-month lockdown, and then we came out of lockdown, and we were like, all right, we're going to put on a show. And so I had my first show then, which was pretty great.
And how was like the first show to pretty much debut in wrestling as essentially in the middle of a pandemic? Like, how was that for you? Like, was that like obviously because of lockdown and everything like that, you would have had so much pent up energy just ready to go?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was it's just like never knew when it was going to happen because everything was so up in the air. It was such a confusing time last year, and I think I just focused all my frustrations and everything into just training and working out at home when we were in lockdown, and just focusing on I'm going to debut as soon as possible whenever I can. And so that happened, and then even the few shows after that, with really last minute lockdowns and flight cancellations, we had a lot of just shows were never really gonna happen until they did, because of how things were last year with restrictions. So it's been like that pretty much ever since, but starting to get better now.
Exactly. It's been on again, off again. And, Australia is pretty much one place which has had like live wrestling at full capacity where the rest of the world hasn't.
Yeah.
So, it's been a great opportunity for Australian talent to really, put themselves out there worldwide. And, the world has started to take notice.
Yeah, I think so. We're so lucky here, just to be able to put on shows like we have, even if it's at restricted numbers. The fact that we can still go to training, let alone put on shows, is pretty great. I'm very grateful.
So how long were you training before you made your debut?
I don't know. I tried out in September of 2019. So bit under a year, I think. Yeah.
And like, did you always grow up a wrestling fan? Like when you were a kid, was it like what you were inspired to be? Like, how did you get hooked in it?
No, absolutely not. I'm kind of embarrassed. I never watched wrestling. I grew up in a family that really didn't like sporting at all of any kind. And I went to my very first wrestling show. I'd never watched anything on TV. I went to my first show, which was a Wrestle Rampage show in 2018, and I was hooked ever since then. I was just like, yeah.
Wow. So you had a preconceived idea of what professional wrestling was. Or obviously you would have had some idea what it was, but you just weren't actively watching it.
Exactly. Like, everyone knows what it's about, and they have the old stereotypes in their head. And I guess I just had that. But it wasn't until I went to a show where it clicked for me, and I just thought, I love this. I'm gonna do this. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, do you remember, like, was there a particular match on that show in 2018 that you saw that was just like, take my money, sign me up?
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember exactly who was on the card. I remember that I went to that show. It was like over 40 degrees, I swear, in February. It was hot, but I just remember there was like a 6-man tag, and it had Jonah Rock and Joni May on one team, and I fell in love with both of those two. They were the two that I remembered from the whole show, Jonah and Joni. And I looked at Joni and just thought, I want to be her. Like, that girl is such a badass. Like, I want to do that.
Did that make you want to go and watch more wrestling, or was it just like, I want to do this, like just jump in there and like learn how to do it?
Yeah, it was more like I want to do it. I started going to shows then because I was dragged along by my sister, who she knew I would love it, and I was kind of like, I don't know. And I went and was hooked, and so I would go to the Wrestle Rampage shows with my sister, and then got involved with the crew there and got to know them, and then tried out. So yeah, and I've been watching wrestling since that point, I guess.
Yeah, nice. And like, what would you say would have been the hardest moment for you, like going from being on one side of the barricade to sort of jumping over that and going and started training? Like, what was the hardest barrier that you found?
That was the actual going to a tryout. I was scared shitless. Like I had no idea what I was going into. I'd had a few people sort of give me a little bit of a heads up what would happen, but I just was petrified to walk through. You know, the day of, I'd had a bad day at work and thought, you know, it was even like, I don't know if I'm going to go, but that just going to the tryout was the hardest thing for me. And I'm so glad I did it.
And once you got there, what was it like? Like, you know, obviously it was a positive experience for you though.
Yeah. Yeah. What I loved is that it is hard work at Wrestle Rampage. They train really hard. And I think I've always like, one thing that I really took away is that like I've always worked blue collar work, and there's always been like a separation of being the female in the work group, and you can't do that because you know, they've always sort of got specific jobs for the females, you know. And I went to Wrestle Rampage, and never once was that ever a consideration. It's you keep up with the group or you don't. Like there's no, you don't do something different because you're a girl. It's we all do the same work as a group. And if you can do it, that's great. And I just loved that. There was never any, you know, exceptions for being shorter or whatever. They just take you on board and try to make you the best you can be no matter what. So I loved that.
But I suppose like, you know, going in there, you wouldn't want people just to sort of make exceptions for you because of stature, gender, or anything like that. Like, I'm sure you wanted to go in there and prove that you could be like hang with the guys in a certain way, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I keep trying to do that each training every week. Just try to prove myself, I guess, and keep up with the main group.
And like your character itself, like how did you come up with the Lily Blaze character and everything that sort of goes into it? Like, did you have an idea of what you wanted to be character-wise going into wrestling?
Not going into it. I didn't. I still don't really know what Lily Blaze is. I bit of a, I don't know. It was just a bit of a little idea of like sort of another part of me that maybe I could have been one day. Like I muck around making like electronic music, and I was like, oh, maybe Lily Blaze is going to be a cool DJ. She like wrestles and then hits up the club and DJs later. Like I was like, that'd be sick. But I don't think that's really what she's doing. You know, I just go out there, just bit of a dickhead, really, just a bit of a goober. But then I got in and had my first match and sort of take it a little bit more seriously than I first thought I would. I thought I'd be a little bit more like fun with it. So it's still evolving. I don't really know.
Oh, look, that's the beauty of learning and developing. You know, it's finding what works for you. But who was your first match against? Do you remember? Oh, obviously it was a year ago. So if you forgot, I'm saying let's check the CTE. But who was the first match against?
I had my first match against Link Barnett.
Right, and you know, is Link a veteran? You know, has been around for a while.
I think so. Yeah, he's one of our coaches at Rampage. He's very, very good. I loved it. Yeah.
And walking away from that match, like, how did you feel? Like, did you feel confident in the match itself? Did you walk away learning much from it?
I learned a lot. Yeah, it was. That was a life-changing moment. I think I didn't know what I would walk away feeling, but it was just a bit of I understand what they were talking about now. Like I get it. But I think it was just I walked out and I just wanted to do it instantly again in a good way. Like just thought, yeah, I love this feeling. I want to do whatever I can to just keep getting this feeling.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, Adelaide has got a hotbed for wrestling there, you know, like Wrestle Rampage, Riot as well.
Yeah.
You know, and some amazing talents coming out of Adelaide as well. Like as far as someone like an aspiring wrestler, to see the talent that's come from Adelaide and worked in promotions that, you know, that you've worked for as well, it must be a very big confidence boost, and know that there is like, you know, if you want to go down that path, then it can be achievable.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Adelaide's got, you know, a lot of great wrestlers coming through and already going through. Like if you're looking like at Jonah in WWE, you know, I'm in a very lucky spot. I'm very grateful to be where I am in Adelaide with, you know, like we said before, being able to put on shows and also having the coaches that I have here. And the other wrestlers around me are so supportive, and they're also like coming through as well. It's a really good spot to be as a newbie, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And the talent in Adelaide is ridiculous. Like Punch Drunk Istria, Rat Daddy, just to name a couple of them. Like,
Yeah.
you know, these guys are guys that are pretty much very well established across the country. You know, has it been, you know, obviously Rampage is a very similar place to, I think, like from what you're saying, like a PWA, like a family environment, all there to sort of build each other up and make the product better and make each other better.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's everybody there is so supportive, and they all want the best for everyone. It's a really great place to be.
And what goals when you started, like, did you have when you got into wrestling? Did you have like a set list of what you wanted to go do, where you wanted to achieve when you got into wrestling? Or was it just, let's dip my toe in and see how it goes?
Yeah, I think at the start it was just, let's just see if I can do this. Let's see if I choke or not. And now that I'm doing it, I have a lot of goals. I just want to keep going. Yeah, it's I guess I didn't want to go into it without knowing how I would go, I guess.
And when you decided to break into wrestling, like, what was your family's reaction? Were they like, "Oh, yep, she's found a calling," or were they like, "Oh"?
I don't know. I've kind of like spent most of my 20s just floating around doing rent, just having, doing whatever. I think they're just like, oh, okay, what? She's doing this now, whatever. But I did not expect my parents to like it. They're very, it's not their thing at all. But yet, they are front row every show. They love it. My dad, like I said, hates sports, but is now converted to wrestling. He absolutely loves it.
Hey, it's a soap opera, you know,
Yeah,
soap opera
yeah,
with body slams.
yeah.
But, you know, like now you were saying that you started to watch wrestling a little bit more. Like, was there anyone that you sort of watched on any sort of stage or level that you sort of went, okay, I want to aspire to be, you know, a similar worker as this person, or look at someone for inspiration in your character or your in-ring?
Like in terms of where I want to be, like I started watching a lot of like Japanese wrestling, and I love their style of wrestling. Like if I could one day go to Japan and like Meiko Satomura is one of them. I think she's incredible, like the best, the best. If I
He's a
could,
badass.
yeah, yeah, like one day be able to learn from people like her would be just a dream. I think.
Absolutely. You know, do you watch any of like the main sort of product, like the mainstream sort of WWE, AEW, or you stick to mainly like Japanese?
I do watch a bit of WWE. I haven't yet watched a lot of AEW. So yeah, to be honest, what I mostly watch is Australian wrestling. I think because I sort of know them or know of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really interesting to watch and see people's development. But yeah, otherwise I watch a fair bit of NXT and WWE. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But as far as in the Australian scene, who would you like to work that you haven't had the opportunity to work?
Well, in Australian wrestling, I've actually only, like outside of our dojo, I've only wrestled with Steph DeLander. but I would love. I think Jess Troy is incredible.
She's amazing.
I would love to one day wrestle against Jess Troy. She's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. But as far as like where you are now in wrestling, like after you've made your debut a year ago, what goals have you now put on yourself? You mentioned Japan is a place that you'd like to go and train, but have you set yourself any goals now after you're a year into the business?
Yeah, I've got a few different goals, just like personal goals and things like that. Just work towards them every day. I guess things are up in the air at the moment in terms of international travel. So it's hard to put timelines on things as well, and just it could be a long time. But I guess for what I can do now, I want to get interstate as soon as possible. Wrestle as like a lot of the girls. There are so many good girls in Australia. I have matches with them, get interstate, get a bit more exposure like that. That's the main goal for this year and next, I guess, whilst we're in our bubble here.
I honestly think Australia's got the best women's wrestling in the world, and I stand by that comment because there is so much talent here, and they are showcased in such a way which is amazing. And you see a lot of intergender wrestling, happening as well, and it's not just a comedy spot of an where intergender wrestling used to be years ago. It's very serious, and it's taken very seriously, and even the fans in attendance take the matches just as serious as any other match when it's intergender. And I was never a fan of it, but I can now, obviously a year into being into all types of different wrestling, you can appreciate good wrestling when it's good wrestling, right? It doesn't matter who are the two people doing it. If it's good wrestling, it's good wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely agree. Yeah, there's a lot of good females in Australia. Like every time I look or watch a show, I'm like, I have not heard of this person. Like, stalk them on social media. I see, there's so many good girls out at the moment.
Oh, 100%. And I think as well, like you're seeing a lot of talent being recognized internationally as well and spoken in high regard. So I definitely think that women's wrestling in Australia is at the highest level.
Yeah, which is really exciting. What a great time to be.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. And there's so many amazing matches that can be had anywhere in the country, and it speaks volumes. But as far as like, you were saying wrestling interstate, COVID's not an issue. Where would you like to go and work if you could get any booking with any promotion in the country besides Wrestle Rampage?
I mean, I would love to go to PWA or DMDU. I think both of those they're putting on great shows at the moment, and they have a lot of, like, PWA especially just has so many girls at my level that I would love to just meet and have matches with.
Oh, 100%. And you mentioned PWA, DMDU, probably two of the top promotions in the country right now. Hands down, and just putting on amazing shows. And I could, I'd like to sort of see where you actually go from Adelaide over to Melbourne and to Sydney, because I think that, with the personality, I think that you could definitely sort of do some amazing stuff. And I think the Sydney crowd would probably enjoy it as well. Oh,
that's cool. Yeah, that would be cool.
So, but, internationally, where would you like to go?
Not an issue. Not an issue. I would love to go to Japan, I think, first. And if I could get over to America as well, probably after that, I would love that as well.
Any particular promotions that you have your eye on over there?
Not at this stage. I haven't, like I said, I haven't got anything set in stone. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But, there's always that sort of glimmer and hope, though,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But, who have been some of your coaches that have helped sort of develop you in the business?
Probably the main coach for me is Istria. He's our head coach here at the Wrestle Rampage Dojo. He's helped me immensely. Yeah, with a lot of the technical wrestling and things like that. And we also have Greg Graham as well, who is just one of the greatest people in the world. They're both very, very good coaches.
And how often are you how many days a week are you training at the moment?
I do 2 to 3 days a week.
Yeah. Right. And, you know, have you found, like, as far as performing in front of a crowd, did you ever have that moment of, like, nervousness or anxiety before going out there? Because going out and performing in front of people in any capacity can be very nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it can. Actually, so before I did wrestling, like, I've always played music, just like acoustic guitar and singing, and I've always just done like little gigs. Just did it since I was a teenager, so like no big thing. But then I realized now that's helped a lot. Obviously I get nervous with wrestling because it's just there's so much going on. But I think that's really helped me a lot as well, to just the crowd isn't really an issue. It's more just what the hell am I doing is what's making me nervous. But being in front of people, that's fine for me, I think. Yeah.
But, like, is that one thing that plays on your mind, though? Like, when you're out there, is like, I don't want to miss a step. What do I do next? Like, does it sort of have that pressure?
I think so. I just overthink it way too much. I don't think I'm at that level yet where I can just go out and have just fun from start to finish, because I'm just so worried about, like, oh, am I gonna make a fool of myself? You know, am I gonna do something wrong? But that all comes with time. I know.
But that's how you learn as well. Like, you know, by making mistakes, going, okay, this is how you do it right. Learn from it and move on, though. So again, it's easier said than done, though, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I would love to be at that stage, at that level where I can just go out and have fun and come back and be like, that was great. You know, that'd be great.
But you've got so much time on your side. Like, you're a year into wrestling, you know, and I think that the longer you do it, everything will just sort of start flowing and start clicking and falling into place.
Yeah, definitely. I think just every single match that I have, I'm coming away with something new that I've learned, and like can go into the next one a little bit more confident, you know, and that's really cool. That's what I'm liking, is each time just picking up something new that I can learn from.
So Wrestle Rampage, how again, like, Wrestle Rampage is one that I've seen little bits online, but, like, tell me, right, Wrestle Rampage, how often are you guys running shows?
So I think before COVID and everything, it was a lot more frequently, but so I've had, I think, 6 matches in a year. So that's how many shows we've had, I think. So not a lot in a year, but that's just 2020 just put, a lot of cancellations and things. But otherwise, I think it's every 6 to 8 weeks normally. Yeah, every maybe 5 to 6 weeks. I don't know. I haven't been the part of that.
No, look, it's look, as far as other promotions in Adelaide, have you started reaching out and trying to get bookings, broadening the horizons, or are you just trying to stay focused on Rampage at the moment?
No, I haven't. Not in Adelaide. Yeah, I think I'm just trying to focus on Rampage at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
So Rampage, where do you guys normally put shows on in Adelaide?
We've got a couple of venues, one in the city and then one out towards Port Adelaide. But they're very excited. But they've just secured. To me, it's a brand new venue, but to them, it's where, like, the original venue from when Rampage started originally, like cool. 15 years ago. So Cosgrove Hall, and all the old guys are just beside themselves. They're very, very excited. But I've never been there, so I think this next show we've got coming up at Cosgrove is going to be very special and very exciting. So yeah, I think we'll keep using that one. if we can, another venue in the city.
Because you guys have a show coming up in the next month, I believe.
Yes, yeah, in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, nice. And has any matches been announced for the card?
Just there's a big career versus title shot between Istria and Joey Graham. So that's been a massive lead up for those two. So that's they're having a big match at this show. But that's all I know.
So, are you booked on the card yet? Do we know?
I hope so. I hope so.
Fair enough. You can kayfabe me on it. It's all good.
I don't know.
It's all good. But as far as Wrestle Rampage is going, like, how big of crowds are we getting? Because from what I have seen, you guys are getting some big crowds.
Yeah, like at our again, it's all with restrictions. So like my debut was with heavy venue capacity was restricted, and I think we had maybe 150. But this now with Cosgrove Hall, and I think restrictions have been eased, we can get a few more. We can get a lot more than that. And I think pre-COVID they were getting a few hundred in. I'm not 100% sure.
Those are good numbers.
Yeah, the Adelaide scene is very good, I think. A lot of loyal fans and very, very cool fans. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And I think Australian fans are probably like some of the most passionate wrestling fans I've ever seen. Very dedicated to the product, very loyal to the brands that they watch, and pretty much loyal to Australian wrestling.
Yeah, I think so. From what I've seen, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. And I suppose that's also like a good way as well, because it's like you've got such a hardcore fan base in Australia that, Australian wrestling has just grown and grown and grown. Like over the last 10, 15 years, it's just exploded everywhere. And I think the world has started to take more notice of Australian wrestling and see how serious and how good a lot of the talents are.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, not that I've been involved in wrestling for that long. I can't say, I know.
But you've been watching a lot of Australian wrestling as well.
Yeah, I have. And the guys that I'm around, like my coaches and the other guys that I train with, like they're lifelong wrestling fans, and you can just tell there's just something in the air. Australian wrestling is just so big right now. There's so many good things happening and so much buzz happening. I think it's a very exciting time to be involved.
Oh, 100%. And it's an amazing culture. Like from the shows that I've been to here in Sydney, there's promotions that are just, open arms with like fans, and you can see that, it's such a welcoming environment. Like they want people to come have a great time, workers and fans alike, just to enjoy themselves when they're there. And you definitely feel that vibe at shows.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely how it
I
feels.
could be wrong for some promotions, but the promotions that I hang around, everyone seems to be having fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've only been with Rampage, but everyone's having a great time. I think that's how it is. Yeah.
Absolutely. But look, it is that time for the show where it is 60 seconds with Piers. I've told Lily how this game is going to go, how it is. I'm going to ask a bunch of questions. Lily's got 60 seconds to answer them. Lily, when you're ready, you let me know and we can get started.
Okay, let's go.
Favorite song to sing in the car?
Oh, anything Ash Nico at the moment.
Would you rather appear on Home and Away or Neighbours?
Neither. Is that an option?
No,
I've never watched either of them.
Gold Class or VMAX?
What's VMAX?
I don't know. We'll move on to it. What TV series can you watch over and over?
Simpsons.
Okay, roses or tulips?
Roses.
Favorite holiday destination?
I don't know. Somewhere out camping. Anywhere, it doesn't matter.
You're auditioning for Australian Idol. What song do you play? What song do you sing?
Oh, I don't know.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
Loud eating.
If you came with a warning label, what would it be?
I don't know.
In 5 minutes, you are being shipped out of space. You can take 2 personal belongings with you. What do you take?
Into space.
Yep.
Can I take my dog?
Sure.
Oh, does he get a spacesuit?
Why not?
I'll take my dog and a dog spacesuit.
Perfect. There you go. Time. Lily, thank you so much for playing along there. Where can everyone follow you, buy some merch, support you? Where can they track you down on social media?
Yeah, so I'm at Lily Blaze on Instagram and at Here Come Da Blaze on Twitter. I've just released a shirt, which I hope I can get on Wrestler merch soon, but it is not there yet. But yeah, probably Instagram and Twitter.
There you go. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Lily, thank you for being a guest on Shooting the Shit Uncensored. It has been an absolute pleasure. Guys, make sure you check out Killing the Business, Get Funked, Knights of the Gimmick Table, and my show, Shooting the Shit Uncensored. We're bringing you live content every single week on twitch.tv/MWA World or MWA Podcast Network on YouTube. So make sure to check us out. But guys, with that being said, Lily, you've been an amazing guest, and I really thank you for coming on, and definitely have to do this again sometime. But guys, thanks for tuning in. And until next time, we'll catch you soon. Go Queensland and peace.